This must be Nymphalidae.
No, it's Amethusidae. Look at the pattern on its wings.
Oh man, how can they be so obsessed about some dumb insects? Yawn. I walked over to Caden and pulled on his sleeve. Caden, let's go take some photos by the stream. It's... Gloria, you just made it fly away. It flew away by itself. Not my fault.
So bothersome. Why are you following us? Didn't you say we were enemies?
You must be wondering who that guy is, and why he's so moody. He's Caden, the boy I'm trying to win over. It's down to him that now a girl as amazing as me has to spend her entire weekend trapezing around the woods. Ugh, I don't even like insects, and I really dislike his sister, Chloe. About the enemy thing, well, it is sorta true. You see, Caden's my neighbor, and somehow he always managed to appear at the worst possible moment and sabotage my things. One time, I was climbing over the fence to sneak out with some friends when Caden showed up and he made a scene out of it. So my dad immediately dragged me inside and gave me a prize of 1 week being grounded. Another time, I was innocently sitting in the garden copying an essay off the internet when once again, Caden appeared, saw what I was doing, and made a fuss about it. So, yep, you guessed it. My dad overheard and grounded again. This poor Gloria. Ugh! I really did hate his guts back then. But my feelings then changed 180 when he once saved me from drowning. Well, I wasn't actually drowning, I just had cramps. But the fact that he dove in to save me was enough. Since then, I only had eyes for him. But no matter how hard I try, he's always so cold towards me. There's no way I'm giving up that easily. You see, someone as dazzling as me has a habit of getting what I want. With this in mind, I ran after them, but a branch got in my way, and I rolled down a hill. Everything around me was spinning. Then the world went black. Gosh, my eyes. What was with the blinding bright lights? I tried to sit up, rubbed my eyes, then saw Caden frantically running towards me.
Gloria, you're awake! Are you in any pain?
Oh, yeah, right. I fell and fainted. But hold on. Is Caden worried about me? If only he treated me like this all the time. Suddenly, an idea flashed through my mind. Aha!
Gloria, are you okay?
Huh? Who are you? Why am I here? Caden panicked and ran to find a doctor, while Chloe rushed over to me. You seriously don't remember us? I pretended to be so surprised, eyes open wide, and asked who Chloe was. Then the doctor came in. After a few tests, he said there was no severe injury, but I must have been suffering from short-term memory loss. Of course, my acting skills were Hollywood level. And no surprises, since then, Caden's attitude towards me was so different. No more moodiness. Instead, he was so sweet. So, this whole pretending thing is totally worth it. I just had one gate to pass. That devious girl, Chloe. Anyone confident to do last week's routine? This will go in your favor towards the lineup evaluation. No way was I going to miss this opportunity, so I immediately raised my hand. After successfully completing the dance, everyone praised me. Except for Chloe. She stared at me and said, don't you have amnesia, Gloria? How do you still remember this dance? Oops, I forgot about the losing my memory part. Well, I watched the dance clip online and stayed up all night practicing, as I don't want to be the black sheep of our team. Chloe still stared at me, but didn't say anything more. Phew, that was a close one. I'll have to be more careful from now on. The next day, I was putting my books away when suddenly Chloe ran over, put her arm around my shoulders, and excitedly said, Hey, bestie, we're still going to the mall this afternoon? Huh? What for? Oh, I forgot. You don't remember anything. Last week you promised to take me to pick out a birthday present. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I'll meet you by the school gates after the last bell, okay? What? What is she doing? We weren't friends, and I never agreed to buy her anything. She was just trying to get a gift out of me. Ugh! But since I was supposed to have amnesia, I couldn't expose her either. Ugh! How frustrating! Trust her to pick the most expensive dress in the shop. I laughed through my tears when I saw the price tag. A whopping $150! But that's not all, as when we were leaving the mall, suddenly Chloe turned to look at me and pulled off her fake smile again. Hey, Gloria, do this with your face. I'll make a TikTok video for you. Then she showed me the phone. Huh? What is this? They're all ugly faces. I quickly waved my hand. No way! They look gross! What? That's cute! These are all the videos you sent me the other day and told me to film it for you. Then Chloe held up her phone, and I had no choice but to do so. Gosh, I was no different from a puppet in her hands. Worse, the video quickly went viral throughout the school, and now, every time people see me, they'll imitate those silly moves and burst into laughter. Ugh! That obnoxious Chloe! Why does she keep on putting my life through hell? This weekend, there will be an overnight nature experience. Everyone seemed excited, except for me. Nature was boring. Then suddenly, Chloe spoke up. Miss, my brother, Caden, is studying biology. Can I invite him to come along and help? My ears pricked up on hearing Caden's name. Of course, the teacher agreed. This meant a whole weekend of being with Caden and sitting by the fire, leaning on each other's shoulders and gazing at the stars. God, how romantic. But expectations did not meet reality. Caden was so busy that I hadn't even made eye contact with him yet. I was sitting and watching Caden instruct the students on how to recognize a death cap mushroom when suddenly someone tapped me on the shoulder. It was Chloe. Hey, let's go to the nearby stream to take photos. That's so lame. I already had like a zillion pictures taken at that stupid stream, as I've been here every week with Caden and this annoying sister of his. But, well, I suppose that would still be more fun than sitting here like this, right? So I pretended to be interested and followed her. Wow, this place is so beautiful. Stop the act. There's only the two of us now, so you don't have to fake it anymore. I know it all. Chloe smirked and continued. Now let's see how you get out of this one. Huh? Was she on to me? So all along, she was just trying to prove I was lying about the memory loss? Nice try, Chloe, but I can just call someone for help. Duh. Hey, where's my phone? God, I left it in the tent. What was I supposed to do now? I knew the way back, but if I went back by myself, it was like willingly falling into Chloe's trap. And my fake amnesia would then be exposed. By then, Caden probably wouldn't even look at me. No way! It can't happen like that. Someone will come looking for me soon. Then I sat down on a nearby tree stump and waited. But it started to get dark pretty fast. And why hadn't anyone come searching for me yet? I was so hungry, I hadn't eaten anything in hours. Suddenly, the branches behind me made a strange noise, which made me tremble in fear. Setting my thoughts aside, I hurriedly found my way back to the campsite. Halfway there, I suddenly saw two figures walking towards me, but they seemed to be arguing quite fiercely.
Do you know how dangerous it can be in the forest at night? What if something happened to Gloria?
She knows the way back. She was just pretending to get your attention. Or are you afraid her father won't hire you again? Wait a minute. Those voices were so familiar. Were they Caden and Chloe? But what were they talking about? Dad? Hire? What did that mean? I took a quick step forward and was stunned when I saw Caden and Chloe in the flesh. As soon as he saw me, Caden frantically asked,
Are you okay?
What are you two talking about? And what does it have to do with my dad? While Caden was still perplexed, Chloe was annoyed and said, It's your dad who hired Caden to watch over and protect you. Now stop wondering why he always shows up at the right time to stop your mischief. What? What did Chloe just say? Was it really my dad who hired Caden? I needed to go home immediately to ask my dad to clear things up. I stormed off, but could still hear Chloe's voice behind me. See? I told you her memory's perfectly intact. It was all just an act. Ugh! As soon as I arrived home, I barged into my dad's office. Did you hire Caden to watch over me? Why did you do that? Seeing that he couldn't hide it anymore, Dad told me everything. Turns out, a few years ago, by chance, he'd seen Caden protecting Chloe when she was causing a scene at the grocery store, and he was impressed by his maturity. Later on, he also learned that their parents had passed away a long time ago, and they'd been living with their grandma. It's a pretty pitiful situation. So, Dad came up with the idea to pay Caden to oversee and protect me, which made him feel more assured about his mischievous, crafty daughter. And at the same time, this would help Caden's family make their ends meet. So, it turned out that the time Caden saved me wasn't because he was a good guy, but just for my dad's money. I was so disappointed and sad that I locked myself in my room for the weekend. Until I was sunbathing in the garden when a baseball flew over the fence and almost knocked me out. I was furious. Whoever threw that could have killed me. That's when Caden appeared. He rushed over to retrieve the ball, then said to me, "Hey, Gloria, I'm sorry about that. My friend's visiting and he has terrible aim." I folded my arms and muttered out, "Whatever." He started to walk away, then stopped, looked back at me and said, "Look, Gloria, your dad was paying me to protect you, and I know you and your trickster nature, so I knew from the get-go that you were faking your memory loss. The thing is, I actually found it kinda cute that you'd do that just to impress me." I gave him a skeptical look. Was he being serious? "I like you. I, have done for a while, but I had my duties to think about. But I've given it some thought, and I've told your dad I quit. I don't want to be your security guard anymore. I'd much rather be your boyfriend. So, what do you say?" Oh, how bold is this guy? I failed to hold back my smile as I replied, "I suppose being your girlfriend could be fun, but no insects." Then I leaped up and hugged him. So now, Caden and I are officially together, and I don't have to pretend I have memory loss anymore. Hey, I guess it's not that surprising. I did say that I always get what I want. Now what better way is there to spend a Saturday afternoon than lying on the couch watching a feel-good movie with lots of snacks? I suppose I better get that. OMG. Who is this? He's the most gorgeous boy I've ever seen in my life. I stared at him in open-mouthed amazement, but then I saw him gazing back at me and realized I needed to say something. "Hey, how may I help you?" "Hi, I'm Jaden. My mom and I have just moved in next door." "Oh, in that case, welcome to the neighborhood." Jaden smiled as he held a box out to me. Was this a gift for me? Already? I took it from him and blushed out a thanks. I opened the box and saw that it was full of delicious-looking cookies. "My mom baked them. She finds that people tend to be far more welcoming when it involves cookies." We chatted for a bit longer. Then he said he had to go and help his mom unpack. Aw, why did this moment have to end already? The next day at school, I couldn't wait to find my bestie Stella and tell her about my drop-dead gorgeous neighbor. But as it happens, she found me at my locker and immediately started gushing about this hot new boy. I needed to see how handsome this guy was. My chance came at lunchtime when Stella pointed over at the new boy who was currently being pestered by Anna, this stuck-up girl from class. I squinted my eyes. OMG! The hot new boy was none other than Jaden! I watched on as Anna fluttered her eyelashes at him, then flicked her hair behind her back. Ugh. She needed to give the flirting a break. It was so tragic. Suddenly, Jaden saw me, smiled, then hurried over to me. Hi, Laura. Oh boy, am I glad to see you. He leaned in close to my ear and whispered, That girl is kind of freaking me out. Please, can we get out of here? Then to my surprise, he took my hand and led me away. I could see the shocked look on Anna's face, and I couldn't help but smirk back at her. Ha! Take that, Anna. He's holding my hand, not yours. Then after school, Jaden and I walked home together. Turns out, as well as being the hottest guy on the planet, he was also really sweet and funny. Back home, I saw Jaden's mom, Cynthia, watering her window box. On seeing us, she waved us over, then insisted on inviting me inside for homemade lemonade. We all got on so well. Looks like I'm going to have a boyfriend soon, one whose mom loves me. From then onward, Jaden and I hung out lots. We had lunch together, we went to the library together, and always walked home together. I was pretty sure the girls at school were super jealous, especially Anna. One day during PE, the teacher told us we were playing dodgeball and assorted us into 2 teams. Anna, who was on the opposite side, wouldn't quit aiming at me. I tried my best to dodge her throws, but bang! She got me! Now, listen to me. Guys like Jaden don't like ordinary girls like you. He's mine, so quit chasing him. Furious, I yelled, I'm not chasing him. He's already my boyfriend. Actually not. Yet I was pretty sure Jaden liked me too. Just you wait. He'll soon tire of you and come running to me. Ugh. Anna was so annoying. I needed to get my frustrations off my chest, so I ranted to Stella about her. Forget Anna. No one likes her anyway. As for Jaden, it's obvious he likes you. He's just new here and probably feels too shy to ask you out. Yeah, you're probably right. He must just be shy. But, I know Anna won't quit chasing him. Then you should make your relationship with Jaden official. Stella had a point. If Jaden was too shy to ask me out, then maybe I should take the initiative. Then Anna would have no choice but to back off. Ha! Tonight was the night. So I texted Jaden, I need your help with something. Let's meet at 8 p.m. by the slide in the park. But then he messaged back saying he couldn't meet tonight as he had to help his mom with something. Right that moment, my dad arrived home earlier than usual and announced that he was taking me and my sister Megan out for dinner. Ooh, this restaurant looked nice. I walked in alongside Megan and... Huh? What were Jaden and his mom doing here? Then my dad walked over to Cynthia, kissed her on the cheek, and said, Hello, honey. Jaden and I shared astonished looks. Then we peered at the adults for an explanation. Laura, Megan, this is Ms. Green, the lady I told you about. What? I mean, I knew Dad was dating a woman named Ms. Green, but I had no idea she was Jaden's mom. Then, before we knew what was happening, Dad got down on one knee and pulled out this diamond ring, then asked her to marry him. And you know what? She said yes! Oh, no. No. They can't marry, 'cause then Jaden will be my brother. Megan looked delighted and hugged them both, while I stared at Jaden in bewilderment. Don't get me wrong, I really want my dad to be happy, but why her? And what about me and Jaden? After that, Cynthia seemed to always be at our house, baking cakes, humming while she dusted and cleaned up, and exchanging gooey looks with my dad. Ew. Then one day, she insisted that Megan and I went wedding dress shopping with her. She tried on this one dress and, yeah, okay, she looked pretty good in it. But when she asked me what I thought about it, I just shook my head and said, "Well, it's not very flattering, is it?" She tried on several more dresses, but I managed to find fault with them all. Then, when I noticed how disheartened she looked, I patted her shoulder and said, "Don't worry, Cynthia. You can always postpone the wedding until you find a suitable dress." She looked a bit taken aback, but then she just smiled at me and said, "That's okay, Laura. I'm going to go with the first one." Ugh. Anyway, now the dress was chosen, so at least I could go home now, right? Wrong. As on the way home, we passed an arcade. Cynthia led us there and then excitedly challenged me to a game of air hockey. Then I said jokingly, "Fine, I'll play, but if you lose, you don't deserve to be my mother." And guess what? She won! Ugh! And worse still, Megan wouldn't quit giving me dirty looks for the comments I'd made. Jeez, I was just joking. "What is wrong with you today?" I plopped down on the couch and blurted out everything. She'd take my side, right? Turns out, no, she wouldn't. "What? You and Jaden aren't even official. But Dad loves Cynthia. They both deserve happiness, so stop being a brat about it." Then she stormed off to her room. Ugh, I feel like I'm going crazy. I have huge feelings towards Jaden, and I know he feels the same. So why can't my sister be mature enough to understand that and support me? I needed to vent to someone. Luckily for me, I had Stella. Why does no one care about my feelings? I can't be Jaden's sister. Sorry, Laura. I don't know what to say. Suddenly, from the nearby table came a lousy voice. "So that's the reason why Jaden has to hang out with you? You're pathetic, Laura." Turns out we were so lost in conversation, we didn't notice Anna and her flock sitting at the table behind us. Actually, we've been into each other for ages. It's not our fault our parents made some dumb decision. Anyway, whether we can be together or not, it doesn't change the fact that you bore him so much that he'd choose watching paint dry over being with you. How dare you? She was about to grab my hair, but right at that moment, a hand stopped her. It was Jaden. That afternoon, on our walk home, I finally came clean to Jaden. "I like you a lot. I have always been since I first met you. I know you like me too, but you think it'll be awkward because our parents are getting married. Maybe if we just tell—" "Laura, you're such a sweet girl, and I do like you, but just as a sister." What? How could he say that to me? He had to like me, didn't he? Feeling an unexplainable amount of shame and embarrassment, I ran away from him. As I lay on my bed and rubbed my tear-stained eyes, all I could think about was how unfair this was. So, by the time Dad called me down for dinner, and I walked in and saw how happy he looked, my anger got the better of me and I yelled, "I hate you, and I hate Cynthia! How dare you try and replace Mom?" Then I rushed back to my room. "You really upset Dad. You know that, right?" I didn't answer. I was also upset, but no one seemed to care about my feelings. Dad said we come first, so if you really feel this strongly about it, then he'll cancel the wedding. To be honest, I'm real mad with you right now. So? What about me? You're so immature and selfish. I didn't understand how my own sister could be so uncaring, so I screamed out, "So what? You don't care that Mom's being replaced by some fake woman? And what about me? Why does no one care how I feel?" "Oh my God, Laura, for once, this isn't about you!" Megan rolled her eyes at me, then stormed off. Finally, everyone quit going on about the stupid wedding. But why didn't I feel good about this? Cynthia didn't seem to be coming round to our house anymore, and I noticed how Dad's cooking seemed to get worse and worse, until he stopped altogether and just ordered takeout. Meanwhile, Jaden wasn't anywhere to be seen at school. Stella asked around to find out where he was, and turns out he'd left, as he was moving back to his old town. No way! After school, I rushed straight over to his house and barged inside to find him and his mom packing. Are you moving away? Yeah. I moved here to settle down and start a new life with Randall, and this house is for Jaden's future. But the wedding's been cancelled, so I quickly asked Jaden if we could talk outside. My mom's cried so much. Randall's her soulmate, and she can't stay around her if she can't be with him anymore. The most annoying part is that she agrees with him that the kids must come first. So, I hope you're happy now? Oh my God, what have I done? His words were like a stab to my gut. Oh no, this was all my fault. I was so obsessed with Jaden that I didn't stop to think about what was best for everyone else. Without saying another word, I ran back home and burst into the kitchen where Dad was drearily staring into his iced coffee. Dad, you deserve to be happy with Cynthia. So please go and tell her how you feel before she leaves for good. But it was too late. Cynthia and Jaden had gone. Just kidding! Nah, actually, Dad managed to catch Cynthia just in time, and he told her how much he loves her and can't live without her. So, guess what? Yep, they got married, and now they're both happier than ever. I've learned the hard way that being selfish and inconsiderate of other people's feelings for my own gain just makes everyone miserable, including myself. So, now we're one big happy family. And I suppose having Jaden as a brother isn't actually so bad after all. Wow, the International Ballet Contest is being held in New York this year! Oh my God, that must be spectacular! But oh, how different my life was 5 years ago. I just won the City Ballet Contest, and Dad wouldn't stop grinning with pride. To celebrate, he was driving to get us ice cream. And suddenly, I don't remember much about that day after that. But I lost him. As for me, I survived. But I was left with life-changing injuries. Since then, ballet was no longer a part of my life. And over there is Aunt Robin and my cousin Nancy. They're super excited about the competition. I swear, Nancy has tried on 15 dresses already. Both my aunt and my mum, when she was alive, were gifted ballerinas. So, naturally, Nancy also inherited the ballet genes. She's now a student of the New York City Ballet. This is something I've always wished for, but now can only dream about. Suddenly, a slamming door and shouting startled me. Joyce, open the door! It's me, Dylan! I opened the door and stared wide-eyed at... Huh? Dylan, my half-brother. The last time I saw him was 5 years ago, when my stepmother took him away. What's he doing here? Before I'd had time to react or invite him inside, he rushed over to me. Sis, you have to save me. I'm gonna have to stay here, okay? What? Absolutely not. Do you have any idea whose house this is? So, it turns out his mom is a gambling addict, so she was in debt and on the run from thugs. Poor Dylan didn't have anyone else to turn to. I managed to persuade my aunt to let Dylan stay with us, although she was adamant that this was only temporary until his mom was found. Being a typical kid hitting their puberty phase, Dylan was not the easiest person to live with. And guess who had to cover for him each time? Yep, me. Last week, he broke the whole stack of dishes. Yesterday, he stuck chewing gum in Nancy's hair. And today, he left his skateboard in the middle of the living room and caused Aunt Robin to fly across the room and land flat on her face. Ouch. Dylan, you have to be more careful. I'll be leaving for college soon, so I won't be here to cover for you. He'll kick you out if you're still like this.
Huh? College? Do you mean boring business administration? I thought you liked ballet, don't you?
No, that was just the past. Now I don't like it. At all.
I don't believe you. Is it just 'cause you're sitting on a wheelchair? Who says being in a wheelchair means you can't continue pursuing your passion for ballet?
This left me dumbfounded. His words had awakened something in me, but the reality is not that simple. So I sadly replied, "It's not just that. I don't have any money either. I tried to apply for some part-time jobs, but they don't accept people with disabilities." Sensing my unhappiness at talking about this, Dylan immediately changed the topic.
Okay, let's just forget about those dumb things. Tomorrow, I'm gonna take you shopping.
Oh, it's been a long time since I visited the mall. Dylan kept asking me if I like this, like that, but we don't have enough money.
Ugh, why doesn't Aunt Robin give us pocket money?
Dylan looked so cute at that moment, so I just sat there and laughed, while he frowned and pouted. Then Dylan suddenly told me to stay still. When he closed his eyes and fumbled around towards two people who looked kinda rich and told them,
"Please help us. We have nothing left to eat this week. Please."
Oh my God, what was my brother playing at? I froze and couldn't do anything besides look down at the floor. The woman took out the money and was about to hand it to him, but the guy swiped her hand, causing the bill to fall to the ground. Dylan quickly picked it up. Oh my. The man immediately grabbed his wrist. Busted! He threatened to take us to the cops and even asked me to stand up, as he thought I was also pretending. Luckily, the woman said they were in a rush, so they wouldn't make it complicated, so finally they left us alone. We came home, but our hearts were still pumping hard, and I could see Dylan's legs were trembling. Then we went inside to see that my aunt had guests. I gawped when I saw who they were. The rich people from the mall! The four of us goggle-eyed at each other in shock. Turns out that woman, Bernie, was my aunt's friend, and the man with her was her son, Philip. They're both famous ballet dancers. Talk about awkward atmosphere! But Nancy seemed oblivious to the tension, as she was too busy fluttering her eyelashes at Philip and twirling her hair around her finger. But the strange thing was, even with my lowered gaze, I could still see Philip looking at me. Then he suddenly asked me,
"How long have you been like this? I mean, no offense. I'm just curious."
So, Aunt Robin started telling them about my life and my condition. Hearing that, Bernie got emotional. She looked at me for a second and asked, "Sweetie, how are things going for you? Are you still doing ballet?"
No. She's interested in business now. She'll enroll this fall."
Bernie paused for a while, then smiling said, "Oh, that's great. I'm happy that you found yourself something you love." I don't know why I felt so sad, so I excused myself to leave the table. Dylan followed me and handed me an envelope. I looked inside and it was full of money.
"I only have this much, but please take it and go take ballet classes again."
My heart stopped. How could he afford it? But then he didn't give me time to say anything when he took the money back, saying,
"Oh, or just let me enroll you."
And surprisingly, he really did. Dylan found a center that had scholarships for students with disabilities. Since then, I went back to the ballet. It was like I was alive again. Every day I was eager to wake up to follow my passion. And I was also practicing for the International Ballet Contest in New York. One time after practice, I saw someone over by the door, watching me. Philip. I didn't know why, but as soon as I spotted him, my heart fluttered. He walked over to me, and we started talking. Turns out, he teaches at this center. After that, He always spent time helping me during practice, and we seemed to be a good pair. But good things didn't last long. That day I was practicing with Philip when a voice called out, "Joyce, why are you here?" I turned around startled to see a glaring Nancy standing at the door of the practice room. It turns out that Nancy came to meet and greet with her students in our center and accidentally spotted Philip helping me. Maybe she was upset because we looked quite close? After that, we met in the bathroom. Then Nancy asked me, "I know you don't have $1 to your name, so who gave you money for this?" "Oh, it was Dylan." "Stop telling lies. He's just some dumb kid. I hardly imagine he has a spare $1,500 to pay for 6 months of lessons." "You asked Phil to pay for you, right?" "Stop acting weak to get other sympathy. That doesn't sound like something my sweet cousin would normally do, does it?" "So, did Dylan lie to me? This course isn't a scholarship for people with disabilities? No way!" I immediately packed my stuff to go home and to speak to Dylan about this. But on my way out, I bumped into Philip. So I asked him if it's true there's no such scholarship at this center. But he just sighed and led me to a quiet place to talk. And you know what? He admitted that it's him who actually had planned out everything with Dylan, and even said that he liked me and wanted to help me. I was shocked, but deep down, I was also kinda happy hearing that, as I did like him. But I felt like I was a burden, and Nancy also liked him, so I rejected him. Nancy wasn't the same after that. Whenever our eyes met each other, she tutted, then looked away. Then one time, I found my ballet shoes soaked in coffee. And another time there was even a note in my bag saying, "Don't chase after Philip, 'cause you can't run, LOL. It had to be my lovely cousin who did these things, right? I felt upset a bit at first, but I didn't have time for her games. I had a competition to practice for. Then, the day before the performance, I arrived home to overhear Aunt Robin in the living room FaceTiming Bernie. "Hey, you should send more money. Joyce is partaking in a ballet competition this time, so it's rather costly." "Really? But you told me she wasn't interested in ballet anymore. In any case, why didn't she take the ballet scholarship for the New York City Ballet?" "Stop going off topic. Remember, you were the culprit to the death of my brother-in-law and the legs of my niece. So, you have to take the blame for this whole life. And now you can't even see fit to spare what is loose change for you to fund her dream?" What? What were they talking about? I was so shocked that I dropped my grocery bag on the floor. Aunt Robin turned around and saw me. Realizing I'd overheard everything, she beckoned me into the room and told me the whole tragic story. It turns out that the person who caused the accident was none other than Bernie. She'd crossed the road without looking, which caused my dad to steer to avoid her and crash into a tree. After that, she ran away, as she was so panicked and feared that it would affect her reputation. Through her friendship with Aunt Robin, she knew about my situation and still had been sending monthly money to compensate for me. What about the scholarship Miss Bernie was talking about? Well, you can't attend that school anyway, so it's better to let Nancy take it, isn't it?" What? I can't believe my aunt would do that. She knows how much I love ballet. I've always thought Aunt Robin was so good to give me a home, when in reality, she was using me, so Bernie would invest in Nancy's ballet career. The word disappointment cannot fully describe my feelings at that moment. The hurt was almost unbearable. I woke up feeling dreadful, but I forced myself to get ready and headed to the competition. It was bustling there, just like me inside. I didn't bother to watch the other performances until Nancy's. She was very graceful, and the judges said she did very well. However, I felt like it was missing something. And now, it was my turn. I looked down to the crowd and saw there was Bernie, Dylan, and Philip. They all smiled and clapped their hands when the MC called my name. I took a deep breath and was about to go out on the stage when, passing me, Nancy leaned over and whispered, "Philip doesn't really care about you. He just feels guilty about what his mom did. Don't go embarrass him by messing up." Suddenly, I felt like I couldn't move. I forgot all the movements and the world was spinning around. But a familiar voice woke me up.
"Joyce, you're better than this. We're all here for you, so don't be scared. You're the light. Don't let the dark bother you. Let's shine and show them what you have."
I was so touched, and it worked. I regained my spirit and just went with the flow. Like a swan that had been restrained for so long, I just did what I wanted to do. I didn't care about anything, anyone. This moment, I'll live for myself. And maybe the judges felt that too. I burst with happiness to hear that. "Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest is Joyce Baker." Everyone came to congratulate me, including Bernie. She tried to fight back tears as she apologized for everything. The past is the past, and I know what happened was a terrible accident. It's something she will always have to live with, and that seems penance enough. So I hugged her and told her it was okay, because what matters was that I could dance again, and it felt fantastic. So what's next? Well, I didn't go to business school. Instead, I'm continuing with my ballet. I'm also undergoing treatment for my condition, and I hope that one day I will be able to be up there on stage, performing with Philip. Speaking of Philip, thanks to his help, Dylan and I moved into our own house, and Dylan has just got a scholarship into a prestigious high school, which he seems to be enjoying. Oh, and one more thing. Philip and I are now officially dating. And this is it, the happy ending of my fairy tale. Guys, keep chasing your dream, despite hardship, because all good things are waiting for you at the end of the tunnel.
"Hello, Dana? Have you heard from Vicky yet?" I anxiously asked. Vicky hadn't shown up for school, but she wasn't at home either. She'd gone AWOL. And I was frantic with worry, especially as it passed 10 p.m. already. "No, this is very out of her character. Martin, tell me what's going on between you two." I facepalmed. Ugh, the word complicated wouldn't even be enough to describe this situation. It's a long story. Let me just tell you from the beginning. It started way back when I was just a kindergarten kid. I met my first ever enemy, Vincent Green. We just didn't see things eye to eye from the get-go. One normal day, I just finished my Lego city when Vincent charged over like Godzilla and smashed it to pieces. And so the war between us continued, one that carried on throughout our school years. He sabotaged everything I did and vice versa. One time when it was my turn to sing in music class, Vincent made fart noises and the whole class burst out laughing. Fair and square, that same day I poured liquid glue over his art collage. Another time he stuck a note on my back saying, "I wet the bed." Seriously, I was getting really paranoid as to why all these kids were laughing and pointing at me. Ugh. So in return, I put this fluffy pink teddy in his backpack. And in class, when he went to pull out his pencil case, the teddy flew out and landed in the middle of the room. Back then, Vincent had already seemed to be quite a girl magnet. I guess they viewed him as a pretty boy, but come on. All kids look the same, right? So I started going around telling everyone, "Vincent only wants to play with the girls. Ew, gross." 5 years later, and our feud was still ripe. Vincent was great at studying, and baseball too. He was the PE teacher's favorite. And I know this sounds stupid, but that being flocked by girl thing was no longer gross. It was like a medal of honor. I tried so hard to be better than Vincent in everything. I was also one of the top students. I joined the soccer team. And I also had girls surrounding me. Still, that was not enough. Not until Vincent accepted his defeat. But then middle school started, and guess what? Vincent wasn't there. Finally, I was free of him. Now I could stay on top, flirt with girls, and become basketball captain without him trying to sabotage me. All eyes were on me, and it was fantastic. Although there was a small part of me that missed the competitiveness. Then on another day, like every other day in high school, I was walking along the corridor and noticed that all the girls were getting in a frenzy about something. "What's going on?" I asked my best friend Tyler when I arrived at my locker. "Not sure. It's probably the new boy or something. Girls are squealing all over the place." I didn't feel good about this. And then, just like in those slow-mo Korean drama scenes, the new boy ambled along the hall charmingly smiling, one hand holding a baseball bat, the other air-shooting girls. My face was slowly getting hot, eyes goggled at the new boy. Yes, it was Vincent. He slid past me, sneered and winked. What a lousy jerk. That was definitely another declaration of war. A few days later, I saw Vincent everywhere, applying for class president, competing for the baseball team captain position, and flirting with pretty much every girl in school. Ugh, he was like a bad rash that wouldn't go away. To make it worse, his grades from previous school somehow ended up published online, which made everyone go giddy for him. Ugh, Vincent Green, you just wait for it. However, he would have to probably wait forever, because I was ready to give up all the competitive intentions the moment I met Vicky. It was at lunchtime. I was having lunch with Tyler in the school garden when Dana, Tyler's girlfriend, came over. Behind her was an angel. I was stunned, mouth wide open. My half-eaten sandwich even fell from my hand. Dana said, "Hi boys, this is Vicky, my best friend. She used to be my neighbor until her family moved away. But she's just transferred back here now." Vicky gave us both a friendly smile. I, of course, took that chance and befriended her right away. Soon, Vicky and I started hanging out. When I was with her, it felt like everyone else had been muted. She was this ray of light in the darkness. She was perfect for me. Smart, beautiful, exquisite. And she was the only girl in school who didn't go all fluttery around Vincent. Actually, she hadn't so much as mentioned him once. I invited her over to my house, and my parents liked her so much they asked her to stay for dinner. Afterward, Vicky suggested watching a movie. The time whizzed past, and soon it was 10 p.m., and she had to leave. Let me take you home," I insisted. But she told me her brother was already on his way. So I led her down to the living room to wait. The doorbell rang. I went to answer to find Vincent standing there. We both froze and glared at each other. What on earth was he doing here? That's when Vicky walked over to him and said, "Let's go." Then she turned to me and kissed me on the cheek. Aw, sweet. But I couldn't think about this right now. Why was my mortal enemy at my front door? Vincent grunted. "Vicky, what's going on here?" I also snarled. "Yeah, Vicky, what's he doing here?" Despite the death stares we were giving each other, she just shrugged. "Oh, Vinny, this is my boyfriend Martin. Martin, this is Vincent, my brother." Brother? My wonderful and perfect girlfriend is Vincent Green's sister? No. Yo, you're dating this loser? Vincent pointed a shaking finger at me. You are really that jerk's sister? I was trembling even more, while Vicky seemed unbothered as she walked toward the car. Vincent immediately growled at me. "Stay away from my sister," before he quickly chased after her. I stood there deadly still, a horrified look on my face. I probably resembled some sort of gargoyle. No way. How could an amazing girl like Vicky be related to that jerk? The next day, Vicky texted me to meet her at the cafe. "We need to talk." Uh-oh, no man ever wants to hear those words. Talk about a bad omen. But we were meant to be going on a double date with Tyler and Dana tonight, weren't we? I entered the cafe to see Vicky sitting there, looking all sulky with her arms folded. Oh no, this didn't look good. Before I even had a chance to sit down, she blurted out, "Martin, why have you never told me about your arch enemy? Do you have any idea how big of a fight Vincent and I had last night?" I sat there open-mouthed. Truth was, since meeting Vicky, I no longer cared about Vincent or our war. I only wanted to focus on Vicky. She made me so happy. I explained this to her, and she replied, "Vincent still hates you. He's forbidden me from meeting you again. Of course, I'm not listening to him, but I want you to both solve this dumb feud." "There is nothing to solve. He started this back when we were just little kids. He's a grade A jerk." I started to get heated. Vicky sighed. "I mean it. You guys need to talk. As for me, I'm not going to let Vincent tell me who I can and can't see. I was so mad at that dude, I just refused to understand her words. I repeatedly came back at her that I didn't want to solve anything with Vincent. Then it got worse. Being as stupid as I could, I blurted out, It's either him or me, so who's it gonna be? Vicky furiously stood up, shouted, "How dare you make me choose a side? I love you, but that's my brother!" Then stormed off. Did she just say she loved me? Oh man, what had I just done? To my surprise, the double date still went ahead. The four of us were in this Italian restaurant, but Vicky hadn't said a word. This was so awkward. When Vicky was in the restroom, Dana gave me a piece of advice. You should listen to Vicky. Go make peace with Vincent. Then, to my annoyance, Tyler also agreed with Dana. I ignored that and asked Dana to take Vicky home. Later, we got into another big fight on the phone. I couldn't understand why she kept telling me to reconcile with that idiot. Just because she didn't want to stand between two rivals? Furiously, I said, I hate your brother. So there's no way I'm going to reconcile. If you love me, you'll be on my side. Vicky yelled out, Both of you are so childish. And neither of you care about my feelings. Then she hung up. So that was the story. Now this brings you up to date, and I have zero clue as to where my girlfriend is. I need to find her, and if that involves putting my differences with Vincent aside, then so be it. So I called everyone to the park, including him. What you two did to Vicky was so obviously wrong, Tyler spoke up. Being stuck in the middle of her bro and her boyfriend must suck. Neither of you even stopped to consider her feelings. Dana continued. Vicky loves you both very much. Don't make her choose. You guys should talk. Then both of them stood up and left us there. Vincent and I sat in awkward silence for a while. Eventually, he cleared his throat. I have to admit that I've been envying you. All the girls adored you. You're smart and great at sports. Vicky falling for you proves that you'd finally defeated me. That's why I got so mad. I looked at him with wide eyes. That was exactly what I thought about Vincent. I always felt like second fiddle to him. Always. I told him this, then we both scratched our heads and laughed. Then I said, Geez, what a couple of insecure losers we are. Vincent replied, Yeah, we're both pretty stupid for a pair of smart guys. Truce? He held out his hand and I shook it. We realized that no amount of attention could compare to the love we got from our girl Vicky. Suddenly, something popped up in my head. I know where Vicky is, I said. Let's go, Uncle Vinny. Vincent and I called Tyler and Dana, and then we went to the 24/7 cafe, where Vicky usually took me. There I found her dozing on a couch on the second floor. I gently shook her and said, Wakey, wakey, sleeping beauty, you gave us all a fright. When she saw that Vincent was there too, and we weren't biting each other's heads off, she gave this huge smile. After that, we all sat down and chatted over hot chocolates and cookies. Finally, the infinity war between two rivals had come to an end. I no longer have an enemy. Instead, I have a new close friend. It's funny how things turn out sometimes, isn't it? Now I'm a part of a group of 5 wonderful people, especially my girlfriend. What more can I ask for? Life is beautiful.
Why is there a hole here? Could it be that the ants did it? What if they're secretly planning an attack on human beings? What will happen to the Big Mac?
Elaine, does staring at the hole help you figure out the sphere volume?
What class is it?
Have you been paying attention at all?
Have you? 'Cause if you have, you would have known the answer yourself.
Excuse me?
Oh, wait. Nah, I still don't know. Sorry, what were you saying?
This is going to be in the test. You need to focus if you...
Oh, this is Japanese class. Duh.
That's it. We're going to the principal's office.
And that's the huge of my high school life. Hi, my name's Elaine, and I've been living with ADHD since, I don't know. But of course, ADHD manifests itself differently among different people. For me, I just gotta make sure I take my medication. Wait, where's my birth certificate? Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe before I continue. Right after the principal's office visit, I was walking down the hallway when a hunky guy purposely bumped into me, knocking my bag over.
Dude, is that a dinosaur? Are you a kindergartner?
Hey, that's my fidget toy. Give it back.
Whoops, finders keepers.
Who dares mess with my friend?
It's Quinn, the furious queen. Run!
The two guys immediately ran for their lives. Right then, Skylar and her new boyfriend also headed over.
Isn't she the weirdo from the math class? Don't tell me you're friends with her.
Yes, I am indeed.
You can only choose one, her or me.
How about I dump you instead? Get lost. And these are my girls. We've been best friends since forever and always got each other's backs. I forget my stuff a lot, and Quinn always makes sure I got everything with me before leaving any place, while Skylar has me covered every time I dozed off in class. You know, I can't sleep at night because I'm busy thinking about the ants' Earth destruction plan. Maybe they're the ones who terminated the giant dinosaurs. Wait, where was I? I don't know. Rewind the video yourself. Valentine's Day soon arrived. Even though Skylar just broke up with her boyfriend, she already had loads of presents from other guys. And so did Quinn. My girls are hot. What about you, Elaine? Nothing this year yet? Nah, I don't care. You guys are all I need. How about you make a move? Any guy you've laid your eyes on? Talk about making a move. When are you gonna tell Cromer you've got the biggest crush on him? That's right. Give it a try today, Quinn. I don't care. I can get any guy if I want to. Right. Suit yourself, girl. That afternoon, we were walking when we heard an announcement from the school's radio station.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Malcolm from iHeartRadio. Today we got a special request from someone anonymous delivered to Elaine Miller. Love the way you stared at the hole on the desk that day in math class. It was so cute. I wish I could be that hole instead. Happy Valentine's Day.
Someone's got a crush on you, Elaine. You've got a secret admirer. See, someone likes you for who you are. Always stay true to yourself. I wonder who this is. OMG, I gotta find out.
But didn't you say you don't care?
That's right. But now the game has changed. Who could it be? They mentioned math class, so they must attend the same class as we do. That's it. All we need is the attendance list from Mr. Wilson's office.
But we can't go in there.
Ever heard of Mission Impossible? Girls, it's showtime. After class, we waited for Mr. Wilson to leave his office. Then, just like totally spies, we crawled onto the floor, successfully avoided the security guard's gawking eyes, and managed to hide from one of the teachers passing by. Then continued secretly advancing toward Mr. Wilson's office. Oh, look! They got flaming hot Cheetos now!
Elaine!
After we got the list, I immediately texted a bunch of people to test it out and anxiously waited. But some people replied calling me crazy. Others reported me to Instagram. I even got a visit from the police because they thought I was some creep sliding into people's DMs. Once they left, I immediately FaceTimed the girls. From the list, there's still Malcolm you haven't texted. Isn't he working at the radio station with you, Skylar? Yeah, we are working together, but it can't be him. He never asked me about Elaine before. Who knows? You weren't working at the radio station today, were you? My money's on him, Elaine. What should I do? I can't send messages on Instagram anymore. How about writing to him? You know, the old-fashioned way. So I prepared a love letter for Malcolm and even designed a cute envelope for it. But then I got too invested in designing the envelope, I forgot all about the letter. When I finally remembered the letter, I walked all the way back for it. But of course, my ADHD brain had to mess it up again. Not until the day when Quinn and Skylar came over and I couldn't find my doctor's envelope anywhere did I realize I'd sent Malcolm my ADHD prescription instead of the letter. We immediately flew to Malcolm's house just as the mailman dropped off the prescription envelope out front. Seeing Malcolm walking out, I frantically ran to the other side of the street and started doing the craziest dance to get Malcolm's attention. Suddenly, I tripped and fell flat on my face. Malcolm rushed to help me up and got me inside his house. We chatted a bit as Malcolm worked on my arm.
Elaine, right? We share a few classes together.
We do?
Yeah, you always sit near Quinn and Skylar, right? I saw you snoozing in class sometimes.
I guess so. Look, Malcolm, did you give me the message on the radio?
Ah, the confession. Well, it's not me. I'm not your secret admirer, but that doesn't mean I don't have a chance, do I? Skylar talks a lot about you, and I've always wanted to talk to you in person.
Speaking of Skylar, it's our girls' night tonight. Bye! And thank you. I finally managed to calm my hyperactive heart down when I got back to my room. Is Malcolm the secret admirer? He's not. How embarrassing.
See? Told you. We're pretty close. He would have told me already.
But he seems to like me. Really? I mean, I saw the way he helped you up when you fell. It can't be. Let's focus on finding your real secret admirer. But that doesn't mean I can't hang out with Malcolm while finding my secret admirer. Turned out we both shared a passion for hip-hop. He can make super catchy beats for me to rap. Just kidding. Animated Story Show wouldn't let me. Comment down below if you want a separate video of me rapping. Since then, we started hanging out more often. Malcolm is such a caring and patient person. Sometimes my ADHD kicked in and I cut him off while he was speaking, but he never got mad and just patiently waited for me to finish. Another time when I was blabbing nonstop about whatever was in my mind, I saw him counting. What are you counting for?
How many times you switch topics within 2 minutes?
Oh, sorry.
No need to. I find it cute, actually.
Later on, as we parted ways, I saw Skylar waiting for me, looking a little sad. Hey, what's wrong?
I'm gonna be honest with you, 'cause we promised each other. I've actually had a crush on Malcolm ever since we started working together at the radio station.
What about your recent boyfriend?
Oh, it was just a fling. I just can't stand seeing you with Malcolm. Anyway, don't take it personally. Sorry, I gotta go.
Skylar had a crush on Malcolm? But I do enjoy being with him. No, sisters first. But it wasn't easy, as Malcolm would always try to approach me. It hurt having to stay away from him. Every time he got close, my heart would beat like crazy. But I also don't want to upset Skylar, as she started distancing herself from me and Quinn. I actually quite like Malcolm.
This is so complicated. I honestly don't know what to tell you.
How about you try finding your secret admirer? For real this time. He might be a better suit than Malcolm. The next morning, I found a note in my locker. From your secret admirer. They want to meet me near the fountain. But when I got there, I saw another note asking me to come to the bleacher. This better not be some silly prank. When I arrived, I was shocked to see Cromer sitting there by himself. He can't be behind the notes, right? Guess I'll find out now. Just a little closer. Closer. Suddenly he looked up and stared straight into the camera. I was about to run when he caught me.
Hey, Elaine Miller, right? You could have asked me for a picture. Didn't know you have a thing for me.
No, it was an accident. Since then, I made sure to be more discreet to see if Cromer was the secret admirer. But man, it's like this guy got the sixth sense or something. Hey, what's wrong? You look nervous.
It's because she likes me. She even tried to take pictures of me, right, Elaine? It's okay. I noticed you watching me recently. Come on, just admit it. I know I'm irresistible.
Why are you doing this? You know I like him. No, let me explain. You know, I even thought it was a misunderstanding between you and Skylar. But you know what? Now it seems like you just want to steal from us.
Hey, guys, chill out. What's going on?
You chill out. Do you even know Elaine said she liked Malcolm too? And now she's also taking Cromer. My Cromer. Hey, about Cromer, it's not what you think. And Malcolm, it's not like you and him are a thing. I have as much of an equal chance as you do, don't you think? Then why were you following him just then? And you even took pictures of him?
And we're talking about our chance with Malcolm now?
You know it's unfair to me.
Unfair? We're always trying to make sure to put you first. But now you think you're the victim? I can't do this anymore.
I hope you're happy you got both guys now, best friend. That was too much. They acted as if they took pity on me. I don't need anyone to look after me. I'm all fine by myself. Since we fell out, we're all caught up with our own things. Whenever I passed by Skylar, she just gave me a cold look. Quinn also seemed to have found new joys. I managed to get by just fine, but it felt like something was missing. One time, I was walking when I spotted Skylar and Malcolm surrounded by a crowd. Turned out, Skylar confessed having a crush on Malcolm and asked him out, but he rejected her. The crowd couldn't miss the chance to mock her. Suddenly, I remembered how Skylar used to stand up for me, and I felt so bad for her. So, I decided to defend her this time, but she just ran out of there. I tried to catch up with her, but Skylar wouldn't listen. Suddenly, she crossed the street without looking, and a car came crashing into her. I frantically ran to check on her, and we immediately got her to the ER. Thank God she was fine, just a couple bruises and scratches, but she refused to let me in. That night, I tried to call Quinn, but it kept sending me to voicemail. But I've made up my mind. I kept ringing her bell and insisted on waiting till she showed up. She finally gave in. Hey, I'm sorry for—
Oh, you're sorry for me? No need to take pity on me. Just enjoy your happiness. Malcolm rejected me because he chose you.
Happy much? Now just leave me alone, you ruthless, self-centered. Then she slammed the door shut in front of me, leaving me all stunned there.
Ha! What a show. This should totally be on Netflix.
Cromer? Why are you here?
I live right next door, so I see Skylar doesn't want to see you. But I do.
Get off of me! I never liked you!
Are you playing hard to get now, pretty little thing?
Right then, Malcolm appeared out of nowhere and bolted to punch Cromer in the face.
Didn't you hear what she said? Leave her alone.
Can't believe Quinn and I are arguing because of you, creep. If only Quinn knew who her crush truly was.
Quinn likes me? Huh, could have told me earlier.
What else is he up to? Anyway, thank you. Why are you here?
I heard Skylar got into an accident right after the, incident, so I wanted to pay her a visit. Now that you're here, I just want to let you know, actually, the one sending you the confession on the radio that day was Skylar.
What?
She just wanted you to feel loved and not left alone on Valentine's Day. I was going to give it some time before telling you, but things got complicated all too quickly. Anyway, now that you don't have to find out who your secret admirer is anymore, would you want to go out with me? As a girlfriend, I mean?
Malcolm, I do like you a lot, but I just can't bring myself to hurting Skylar ever again. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand. Guess I'll see Skylar another time then.
I'm so sorry, Malcolm. Later, I arrived home to Mom packing some boxes.
Can you check if you still need these from the attic? Otherwise, they have to go.
I opened up the boxes to find old pictures of me, Skylar, and Quinn inside, and I immediately burst into tears. We looked so happy together, like nothing could split us apart. That's right. We're sisters. I gotta make things right. The next day, after the first period, I came looking for Skylar. Gosh, I'm so anxious. Where's my fidget toy? What if Skylar's still mad at me?
Looking for this?
Yes! Skylar, I need to talk.
Me too. I'm sorry, Elaine. I was so hurt and embarrassed yesterday that I said nasty things to you. And you were right. I should have told you earlier I have a crush on Malcolm. But after everything, I realized how stupid I was, and I don't want to lose you or lose us.
Hey, me too. I couldn't sleep yesterday after hearing about everything from Skylar. I haven't been myself without you guys. Oh, me neither. You guys mean the world to me. It turned out Skylar also gave me the locker notes that day. She said she wanted me to give up on finding the secret admirer, and Cromer just happened to be there. After that, I also told Quinn and Skylar about the fight between Cromer and Malcolm that night when Cromer himself showed up.
Hey, Quinn! I just realized I've always liked you. I'm sorry your friend Elaine liked me, but you are my perfect match. Be my girlfriend, will you?
Skylar and I immediately gave each other a worried look when, Cromer, you know what Lady Gaga would say?
Caught in a bad romance? I know I'm too handsome. You can't resist.
She'd say, women stick together, you jerk. Cromer immediately ran away in embarrassment. What a loser. Oh, by the way, Malcolm left to study abroad today and he sent his goodbye to you. I feel so bad about you and Malcolm. It's okay. Right person, wrong time. From then on, us three were always by each other's side and graduated together. We even went to the same college now and made sure we go to every party together. One night at a music festival, I was waiting for Skylar and Quinn to get back from the restroom when they started playing Kendrick Lamar. Hip-hop would always remind me of someone now. Suddenly, a handkerchief was handed to me.
I saw you from afar. Is this the right time to get your number now?
It was the princess fair today at my school. Each girl would show up with a parent, both dressed in princess costumes. My dad and I were anxiously waiting when the teacher finally called our names. But when we showed up on stage, there was a brief moment of silence. Then the whole crowd fell into chaos. My dad in a princess dress doesn't seem too friendly, huh? Hi there, my name's Pamela. Are you wondering how we ended up in that situation? Stay tuned, because I'm about to tell you the funniest story ever. I grew up with two loving parents. Mom ran a popular pizzeria in town, while Dad was a professional boxer. But then, Mom passed away in an accident while Dad was away on a tournament. After that, Dad couldn't stop grieving and blamed himself for leaving Mom alone. So he decided to quit boxing to take care of me and the pizzeria. Growing up, Dad would always make sure I didn't miss out on being a girl, but somehow he failed every single time. It's a miracle. Like, when he tried to do my ponytail, he struggled so much I thought he was boxing with my hair. Today was just one of Dad's failed attempts. After the show, we were heading out when we came across Mr. Rocky, Dad's former competitor.
Oh, isn't it Mr. Barkley, our boxing champ? Hi, Rocky. We couldn't believe it when you left the ring. You were a legend, Barkley. But I guess family first, right? Once a famous boxer, now a princess dad? Oh, by the way, this is my son. He's gonna be following in my footsteps. Warrior blood runs in the family, you know?
Hope it doesn't run in the family to be a jerk like you. When we were home, I saw Dad ruminating, probably thinking about the encounter with Rocky. So I lied to him. Dad, I know you've been doing this for me, but all these girly things are not for me anyway. Instead, could you teach me boxing? I want to be a boxer like you. Honest to God, I still love being girly and all, but just seeing how happy he was, I knew I had made the right choice.
From then on, I grew up helping Dad run the pizzeria and learned boxing with him. Eventually, Dad got more students. Carson is the oldest and Dad's favorite. He also came to live with us and help with the restaurant. Business soon started picking up thanks to my boxing bros. The customers, especially females, love them. Soon, we became the hottest pizzeria in town. One time, while running errands for the restaurant, we heard an old lady yelling at someone. "You're stealing my cookies, young man!" But the guy just walked away, leaving the hopeless lady behind. The audacity of him! I immediately charged at him and tackled him to the ground. "Didn't you hear, you thief? Return her cookies now!"
Hey, stop! It's a misunderstanding. I saw her putting the cookies in her bag already.
The old lady immediately checked her bag and her cookies were indeed inside. I awkwardly released the guy, and once he turned around, I was shocked. He looks like an angel walking on earth, even with that annoyed look he was throwing at me. Is this love at first sight? On my way home, I couldn't stop dreaming about him, when suddenly I noticed a moving truck parked at the building next door, and right there was him. He was sweating profoundly, then suddenly took off his shirt, revealing his six-pack. Whoa, it's my lucky day. Later, I asked around and learned that his name is Denzel, and he just moved here with his mother, Michelle. From then on, I couldn't focus on anything else, as pretty boy Denzel and his heavenly abs kept running through my head.
Hey, what's up? What's wrong with you?
Oops, sorry. It's just that I think I have a major crush on our new neighbor, Denzel.
What? For real?
Yeah, but I don't know what to do. Got any advice?
I got plenty, but...
Oh, come on! I'll do anything, please!
Okay. Now listen carefully.
According to Carson, the best way to show my charm is by flexing my muscles. So I set up this new punching bag right in front of the house, waited for him to show up, and used all my might to pound on the thing. Ha! 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 But Denzel was so unimpressed. He just coldly tossed the garbage, then slammed the door shut. Later, I waited till Denzel appeared by his window, then started lifting my desk up with one hand to impress him. Evening yoga. He looked at me as if I was some circus clown and shut the blinds. Bummed out, the next day I went to talk to Carson. Nothing I try works. He just doesn't care.
You sure? It worked every time I wanted to get girls.
But I'm a girl. Ugh, you're messing with me, aren't you?
Gotcha. But what's so interesting about him anyway? You could be with me instead. I can treat you better, Pam.
You're just like a brother to me, Carson. Thanks for your help, by the way. So much for counting on him. But that's not all. The next day, I already caught sight of Carson and the gang cornering Denzel. I immediately dashed in to protect him.
Relax, we're not doing anything. It's just that Denzel wanted this bag for his mommy, but I wanted it for you. How about a fistfight to settle this? Whoever wins gets it? Only fair, right? I got dibs on it, so I see no reason to fight. But if you insist, you can have it. Stop pretending to be so generous. Just say you're scared, wimp. Wah, wah, wah. I don't like fighting.
Then he calmly walked away. I caught up with him around the corner. Hey, don't worry. I got your back. Carson wouldn't be able to touch you.
No need.
You don't think I can protect you? I'm a boxer, just so you know.
You know what I hate the most in this world? Boxers. And by the way, could you move your punching bag elsewhere? It frustrates me every time I see it.
So all my efforts to charm him are for nothing? And what does he have against boxing anyway? The next couple days, I arrived home from school to see what seemed like a heated argument between Dad and Denzel's mom, Michelle. I came to ask what was happening, and turned out Michelle just opened up a new pizzeria right around the corner from my family's. Now she's officially competing with us.
I lost my job in the city, and making pizza is the only job I've ever had.
But why in this town? Why so close to our restaurant?
We actually inherited the land from Denzel's grandmother, and I can't afford to move anywhere else. But trust me, I didn't mean to compete with your dad.
I see.
Why don't you come over for cookies? Denzel told me you're in the same class with him, right?
Denzel mentioned me? It sure feels awkward with Michelle, but if I could be close to Denzel again, why not? Once inside, I was immediately impressed with a house taken care of by a woman's hand. It's a small space, but felt so cozy. Everything was so organized, and look at all these high heels. Wow!
Pamela, I just noticed your hair is so beautiful. Can I style it?
Really? Please do! Dad used to make me wear a beanie all the time because he always messed up my hair. It feels so nice being a girl again. I got home thinking Michelle was pretty nice, and she reminded me of Mom. So I explained to Dad, trying to calm him down. But once Carson whispered something to him, he immediately decided to declare war on Michelle. Ironically, Michelle's pizzeria soon attracted all the customers, since Denzel in a waiter outfit is on the next level. Carson and Dad were furious, and they decided to pull pranks on them, starting with the restaurant's sign. Then they spread rumors online that Michelle didn't wash her hands after using the bathroom and went straight into kneading the dough. Carson even planned with Dad to sneak a rat into Michelle's pizzeria to scare the customers away, but I informed her just in time, so she successfully avoided harm. Meanwhile, the more I hung out with Michelle, the closer we got. We went shopping together, recreated all my favorite dishes Mom used to make, and she even taught me how to do makeup.
Pamela is so pretty, right, Denzel?
Was I hallucinating, or did he just blush? One day I came over to Michelle's restaurant after class, but it wasn't as busy as usual, and Michelle seemed so depressed.
Someone pretended to be me and posted nasty reviews online for your dad's restaurant, and townspeople thought it was me. They decided to cancel on me and call me out for using unfair practices, but I swear I had nothing to do with it.
Feeling uneasy, I ran home to confront Dad, but when I arrived, I saw a sprinting figure in black running away from Carson and Dad.
You thief! Stop right there!
Suddenly, Denzel appeared where the thief was heading. He immediately held Denzel hostage.
Take him down!
But Denzel just stood there frozen. Right then, a motorbike rushed over. The thief quickly pushed Denzel away, jumped onto the bike, and got away. I rushed to check on Denzel, but he seemed annoyed and left.
We could have captured the thief. What a coward.
Denzel froze at those words, but then let go and walked away. Later, I was glad to know the thief didn't steal anything from my house, but Carson started trash-talking Denzel again.
Mr. Barkley, I think Denzel was behind the theft. That was probably why you let them go.
Quit it already! Why do you have to be so suspicious and hateful?
Oh yeah? What about you? Have fun snitching on our plan to Michelle? What? You've been telling them our plans?
I did? So what? Since when did you become so petty, Dad? And the whole fake review kerfuffle? It was you who pretended to be Michelle and gave our restaurant bad reviews, so she got cancelled, right? Dad didn't say a word when Carson jumped in.
You got any proof? Just as I thought. While you were hanging out with those suckers, Mr. Barkley and I did some digging and found out Denzel was Rocky's son, his worst enemy. Can't imagine the boxer's son being such a wimp.
Stop calling him a wimp!
That's enough. Pamela, you have one choice. Stop hanging out with Michelle and that wimpy kid. I will never accept that kind of man.
Too frustrated, I just stormed out of there and went straight to Michelle's. I then unloaded everything to her, and she invited me to stay over till Dad calmed down. Thinking about what Carson said earlier, I asked, "So, is Denzel's dad Mr. Rocky, the boxer?"
Yes, he is. But we got divorced a long time ago. Denzel's been staying with me since.
It suddenly turned awkward and heavy. Denzel just stood up and left.
It's just that Denzel doesn't like talking about his dad. Anyway, I'm gonna head to bed. Make yourself at home, okay?
I then joined Denzel when he suddenly spoke up.
You know why I didn't fight back? That day with Carson at the mall, or even today? You probably think I'm a coward too.
No, that's not what I think of you.
When I was a kid, I used to admire him and even dreamed of becoming a boxer just like him. But then that same man, outside the boxing ring, became a monster to my mom. I put him up on a pedestal, but he made her life miserable. So I swore to myself to never use violence and stopped boxing.
So that was why. He thought the sport itself made people become violent? Surprisingly, after the roof talk, Denzel seemed less distant and even waited for me after class. It was still a little awkward, but just being this close to him was enough to make my heart join Formula One. However, Carson wouldn't stop being an annoying third wheel.
Legend, oh legend, the third wheel legend, always in the way.
He followed us everywhere, and people started calling us the Three Musketeers. Ugh. Meanwhile, the pranks from Carson and Dad were getting more and more serious. Michelle's supply trucks were constantly tampered with and lost all of their ingredients on the way. Michelle was distraught, while Denzel was furious and suggested he go get the ingredients himself. I had enough. So that afternoon, when Dad was still busy at the restaurant, I confronted Carson. "It was you all along, wasn't it? Dad couldn't do all that single-handedly. Thanks to you, Denzel will have to carry the supply himself tonight."
Always Denzel, Denzel. Could our conversation be less about that coward and more about you and me? Then maybe I could convince Mr. Barkley to stop.
In your wildest dream, even if you were the only man left on Earth, I'd rather go extinct than date you. There, that should knock some senses into him. But later that day, I got a text from Carson.
If you want to know who's responsible for the sabotage, come to the junkyard. Oh, by the way, Denzel's gonna drive past too, right? Shipping the ingredients and all.
What is he up to? I texted Dad to come with, as this could show him Carson's real face. Then I ran to the junkyard. I arrived to see Carson standing there all by himself.
You were right. It was me all along who faked Michelle's reviews and sabotaged her supply trucks. I tried so hard to get you, but you only had eyes for that stupid Denzel. But in just a moment, you'll see you picked the wrong guy.
What are you doing? He tied me to a car despite my efforts to get free, then went to set up what seemed like a trap. Just then I saw Denzel, carrying goods on a scooter, about to come through. No! Denzel! Don't! He drove straight into the trap, lost control, and fell over.
Oh, boo-hoo! Did it hurt? Too bad. You and I are gonna fight right here, right now. Whoever wins can have Pamela. I already told you, I don't fight. See, Pamela? He's not interested.
You're willing to go this far to prove a point? You know what? Challenge accepted. Oh, no. He just fell and looked like he'd hurt his leg. Carson immediately out Denzel easily. I was screaming when someone appeared next to me. Dad!
Shh. Let's just see. A true boxing spirit will not back down easily.
Just then, we saw Denzel slowly rise up and suddenly gave Carson a knockout. Holy camole! Where did that sudden burst of power come from? I immediately rushed to check on Denzel while Dad went to Carson.
I trusted you, but you dared to do all the dirty deeds behind my back. You don't deserve to be a true boxer. Get out of my sight for good. Now!
Who's the coward now, huh? You said you'd never fight.
My dad makes me think boxing is violent and violence is bad, but it's not. Abusing violence is. It's okay to fight for justice. In this case, fighting for the people I love. Sorry, Denzel. I was wrong for judging you too quickly. You're not a coward at all.
That's right. A man's bravery doesn't just come from his brawn or belligerence, but should come from his spirit. Huh, did I say something wrong?
Wow, never thought you could be this mature.
My dad then went and apologized to Michelle for hurting her business, and suggested they join forces together and open up a new pizzeria. Fortunately, Michelle was cool and agreed. After that, Denzel decided to get back to boxing. And best of all, my dad is teaching us both.
Okay, you two can practice now. I gotta go over to the restaurant to help Michelle.
And you know what else? Denzel and I are finally dating. Ouch, it hurts so bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you... You and your silly antics.
It does hurt. I'm not joking.
Does this help then?
Hey guys, I'm Feather, and I look just like any other 16-year-old, right? Actually, my life as a teenager is far from ordinary since I have hemophilia, a rare disease in which my blood doesn't clot properly, so even a simple graze could be fatal. My parents are so worried that I might hurt myself that they keep me safely shut away in this mansion. In fact, I've never left it. Money isn't a problem to them as they own this massive energy corporation, so to compensate for me not being able to go outside, they make sure I get anything I ask for. My giant playroom is cool, right? Not only that, but I also own a dressing room with hundreds of cute Lolita outfits. And an enormous pantry full of my favorite snacks that I can enjoy at any time. You see, there's honestly nothing to complain about, except I suppose it does get a bit lonely sometimes. Until one morning, I was woken up by a screeching noise coming from downstairs. Are you kidding me? Do you want to burn my throat with this or what? What's going on here? I went over to the living room and was stunned to see a girl sitting way too comfortably on our couch. I was still trying to figure out who she was when she suddenly said, "You, standing at the door, get me another glass of cool water. Now." Taken aback, I instinctively went to get her water. Then the girl finally looked up and seemed startled to see me. "Oh my, I'm terribly sorry. I thought you were just one of the maids." Turns out she's Katie, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Forger, the two scientists that are collaborating with our family's corporation. My parents arranged for them to stay here to facilitate the research on the upcoming project. When I told her about my life and condition, she seemed really surprised. "Oh, Feather, it's as if you live in your own tiny world. There are already flying cars out there, and they've just invented time machines too. You're missing out on so much." "Really? How come no one told me about this?" "I'm just joking, silly. Whoa, you weren't kidding about not leaving this place, were you?" Then she started telling me about some of her favorite things to do in the outside world, such as watching the latest movies in the cinema, going to the mall where she could actually try things on before buying them, or attending all the fun festivals. It all sounds so cool. We chatted for ages, then I showed Katie around the mansion. Her reaction when seeing my dressing room and the playroom was seriously priceless. From then on, I spent lots of time with Katie, but my favorite part about being around her were her stories about school, where she got to learn new things and make a lot of friends. Seeing my excited expression, Katie immediately suggested that I talk to my parents about maybe letting me experience it myself. Actually, it doesn't hurt to try, right? So at dinner, I gathered my courage to say, "Mom, Dad, I want to go to school. I understand that you're worried for me, so Katie will come along to protect me. Right, Katie?" "Oh, yes, that's right. Feather is in good hands, Mr. and Mrs. Adams." My parents seemed very hesitant, but after a whole lot of persuading, they finally agreed with conditions. We'll join the most prestigious school in the state and have our own chauffeur. As for Katie,
To avoid any incidents occurring, I suggest you get rid of the long nails and jewelry, Katie.
we went back to my room after dinner, and I just couldn't hide my excitement. Yes, we'll get to go to school together soon. What should I prepare? What would you recommend? But then I noticed Katie staring in sorrow at her newly done set of nails. I'm so sorry, Katie. Is there anything I can do to make it up to you? It's okay, Feather. What matters is that you're able to go to school, and I'm so happy for you. It's bedtime anyways. I'll head back to my room now. I'm so lucky to have a friend like her. As I was indulging in my thoughts, a familiar voice startled me.
Hey, I heard you two are going to school. Are you sure it's safe? Katie doesn't seem all that trustworthy.
That is none of your business. You're just jealous that I've made a new friend while you're still lonely, aren't you? In case you're wondering, this guy is Liam, the butler's son. He was my childhood best friend and used to come to the mansion every day for homeschooling and to spend time with me. But we had some petty argument, and I hadn't seen him since. Well, at least not until now. He was about to ramble about something else, but I slammed the door in his face. I wasn't going to let him ruin my mood. What I need to think about is my school day that's coming up. Oh my, it's so exciting. I really can't wait. We are going to Edgewood High today. So I decided to wear my favorite Lolita dress as Katie suggested. Oh, I almost forgot, Mr. Freddie. He's been my best friend since childhood, and of course he had to come along with me on this big day. Katie also said I should try introducing him to everyone. That would help me make new friends faster. Such a brilliant idea. Whoa, we're finally here. Hey, Katie, how do we find our lockers? Hey, Katie, when is lunch? Hey, Katie, do you know who's going to teach us? Oh my God, Feather, stop asking. Everyone's staring. I didn't even notice. It's probably because we're new. Hi, I'm Feather. Or maybe it's because of your extravagant outfit. Before I could say anything, someone spoke up. That's a lovely dress. Oh, you're right. They do seem to like my dress. I waited for everyone in the room to settle, then confidently introduced myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Feather, and this is my best friend, Mr. Freddie. As soon as they saw Mr. Freddie, everyone burst out laughing. I didn't know what was so funny, so I just awkwardly laughed along. After class, I asked Katie why our classmates laughed earlier, and what she told me was unbelievable. They were making fun of me. It's so sad to know, but I guess not everyone can be as nice as Katie. She also told me to dress down next time to attract less unwanted attention. It's a bit upsetting, but I guess I'll have to do what's best. So I listened to Katie's advice and ditched the OTT dress. Just like she said, people actually stopped staring at me. Here, hold this. You look really good holding books. Huh? That sounds kinda weird. But it's fine, though. She probably wanted my help but was just too shy to ask. After the morning classes, I went to buy a bunch of lollipops, and that might look odd to Katie, so I let her know about how lollies are my special anxiety remedy. People here seem to be quite judgy, which got me a bit uneasy. You want one? Aw, poor you, but no thanks. By the way, I'll have lunch with David today. You know, the cute jock in our math class. So you're on your own this noon, okay? Then she quickly left without waiting for my response. I didn't know having lunch alone was so boring. Everyone has their own group, except for this one guy wearing a hoodie and a mask. Hi, can I join you? But he didn't even reply, just stood up and moved to another seat. Did I do something wrong? Feeling the anxiety taking over, I immediately took a lollipop to calm myself down. And it's doing a wonderful job at making me feel better. But suddenly, someone snatched it out of my hand. I chased after him, but slipped on someone's foot and fell hard on the floor. Panicked, I burst out crying, and I heard the guy that took my candy say, Feather the toddler. Then everyone laughed at me again. Luckily, a guy spoke up.
Stop this nonsense. What are you going to do if she's injured?
Oh wait, it's the weird guy from lunch. He checked on me to make sure everything was fine, then quietly went back to his seat. I didn't even have the chance to ask for his name before the teacher came in. This guy was so strange, but there was one thing I didn't understand. Why was Katie also laughing? Back home, Katie came to find me in the playroom, and I questioned her about the incident earlier, and she quickly apologized as she thought they were just joking. She then suggested going shopping and offered to buy me something to cheer me up, and so I agreed immediately. We went to the mall the next morning, and I had the best time. We had iced coffee and some delicious pudding. Katie also got me an adorable little hair clip, and so I bought her a bunch of new clothes in return. We were about to head home when Katie said, "Hey, Feather, I have a cousin whose sneakers are falling apart. Would it be okay if you helped me get him a new pair?" Of course, anything for my best friend. Making my best friend happy was the most wonderful feeling in the world. I'm so grateful to have such a lovely person like her to come into my life. But then the next day, I walked into class to see Katie being all lovey-dovey with the boy who took my lollipop. So that's the David that she mentioned, and on his feet were the brand new sneakers that were supposed to be for her cousin. Why is he wearing the shoes I bought? Then Katie pulled me outside and explained profusely, "Feather, calm down. The shoes were too big for my cousin, so I gave them to David. I didn't lie to you, I promise." "Fine. Please just don't let me see him wearing them again." I felt really bad since Katie seemed really sad after hearing what I said. At that moment, David approached me.
What's up, toddler? You got a problem with my new kicks?
I froze in fear. Then thankfully an announcement came through the speaker. "David Peterson, please come to the principal's office immediately." Turns out he's in trouble for spray painting a teacher's car. At least someone already helped me teach him a lesson, but that wasn't all. A few more of my classmates also got detention for cheating on the math quiz yesterday, while some others got caught skipping classes. It was such a crazy morning. It's as if someone was trying to play the hero here. Finally, it's lunch break. Hoped things would be better in the afternoon, but... What is this? A poster of me? It also says underneath, "Feather the toddler is the snitch." Katie took a look at it and said that the best way to deal with these kinds of jokes was just to play along. I'm not sure about that, but it seems like the only way now. And so, I climbed on an empty chair in the cafeteria and started speaking loud and clear. May I have everyone's attention, please? Hi, I am Feather the toddler, and I am proud of it. Instead of getting the response I'd hoped for, what I got back was food. The whole cafeteria was laughing and throwing food at me. I covered my face, trying to dodge it, but the floor got slippery from all the greasy food, so I ended up falling. Oh no! I scratched myself! I could only lay on the ground out of pain. People finally stopped as they saw me bleed. All I could vaguely hear was a familiar voice calling my name. I woke up in the hospital to find Liam sitting next to me.
Feather, you're awake. Do you feel pain anywhere?
Well, Liam? Why are you here? Where's Katie?
Katie? You're still worried about Katie? She's the one who was behind all this. She told the principal about your classmates and told everyone it was you to make them hate you.
What? How is that possible? Turns out the guy who was always wearing a hoodie and mask was Liam. Liam had always been suspecting something shady in Katie's behavior. So, after failing in warning me about her, he decided to look out for me himself instead. I cried and tried to hug him despite the pain on my arm. Then Liam showed me a shocking video of Katie talking trash about me to everyone. "Oh, why was Feather carrying my books, you ask? It's because her parents work for my family's corporation and she'll do anything I tell her to as long as I give her some money." Seeing the anger and also disappointment in my eyes, Liam calmed me down and said he had a plan to expose my so-called best friend. When I returned to school a few days later, I stormed straight over to Katie. "It's you! You're behind it all! I already know everything." "Stop being ridiculous, Feather. You got busted and now you're trying to blame me. Drop the act. No one's falling for it." At the end of class, Katie suddenly gathered everyone. "People, head over to the lecture hall. I have something very interesting to show you guys." Oh boy, I wonder what else she has planned. Liam and I quickly followed the crowd and found Katie standing on stage. "Oh, Feather, I'm glad you're here. This is about you after all." The screen started playing a video of me sitting on my swing, playing with my dolls, and taking armfuls of candy out of the pantry. Do you see that, everyone? Feather is just a toddler in a teenager's body. Such a weirdo. I was waiting for everyone to start laughing, but the crowd stayed completely silent. Then Katie hesitantly continued, Not only that, she's also the poser who snitched on us. Then, to her surprise, the angry crowd started booing and shouting at Katie, saying she is the evil snitch. Then they turned to me.
Your rooms are actually pretty cool.
I wish I had a snack pantry like that. It's so awesome. Katie sounded panicked as she continued talking more trash stuff about me, but no one listened. Turns out, Liam had set up a group chat in which he'd posted proof of Katie's actions, including the video of her talking to David, and also pictures of her coyly walking out of the principal's office after she must have snitched on everyone, and her putting up that mean poster about me.
Katie, you're the one embarrassing yourself. Everyone knows that you're a snake in the grass.
I trusted you, and what I get back are all these lies and schemes. I feel so ashamed for ever calling you a friend. As Katie looked around at the unimpressed-looking crowd, she realized her game was up and quickly fled the scene. Later on, we arrived home to see my angry-looking parents standing next to Katie's mom and dad, who had all their luggage packed ready to move out. Yes, Liam had already told them everything. In the end, Katie's parents made her apologize to me. Only after a lot of persuading did my parents let them keep their jobs. I never saw Katie again, but I did make a bunch of new friends that I invite around sometimes. The snack pantry is a big hit. Now, I wear whatever I like without worrying about being judged. Most of all, I'm enjoying my school life, and it's all thanks to the help of my trusty soulmate, Liam.